Hey, welcome back to Run and Gun, and today we're out here in the middle of nowhere, North Dakota, and I'm going to take you guys with me and give you kind of an introduction on how to shoot landscape photography. Let's go. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about landscape photography. Landscape photography isn't easy. It's one of the most difficult forms of photography I've done, and I've tested a lot of different things. As you know, I'm a military photographer. Landscape is difficult. It might mean waking up like today. I woke up at 5 a.m. to get out here at 6 o'clock right now for this sunrise. The weather is always going to play a huge role in your landscape photography. Just because that river and that hill over there isn't moving doesn't mean it's going to look good in the middle of the day at noon. You want to get the peak hours of color and light. So 6 a.m., 6 p.m., golden hour, when the sun's coming up and when the sun's going down. This light here is just gorgeous as it's coming across this river into this valley. Another thing you want to think about is composition. How do I literally use the landscape and the terrain to make my composition? A big thing is your horizon. Your horizon is going to be something that cuts right through the middle of your photograph. Do you want it to cut through the middle of your photograph? That's kind of boring. Usually dead center with 50% sky, 50% land. Move it on an upper third, a lower third, just something to get you started, to start breaking up that composition a little bit, start using the land. I have, like I said, a gorgeous river in front of me. I'm going to use that to help my composition a little bit. All right, so let's talk about your camera settings a little bit. You want to start out just looking through, taking a test shot is usually what I'll do. I'll take a test shot, I'll see what I have. I see that I'm at a 60th of a second, I'm at f4. My ISO is 100. Shooting straight into the sun, that's really bright. So I'm going to start out with a lower f-stop. I want my aperture to be small so that I'm getting the biggest depth of field, and I want everything to be in focus, this entire landscape. It's gorgeous. I don't want anything to be out of focus. So I'm cranking up my aperture to f8, and let's see where that takes me. Alright, so now I have f8, 1/100th of a second, and my ISO is still 100. You want your ISO as low as possible so that you're getting the least amount of noise. If you want to blow this up into a big print, you don't want a whole bunch of noise in your image. So use the lowest ISO possible, the smallest aperture, and usually shutter speed is what you can vary a little bit. If you have water and you don't want crisp water, you want some motion, you want to look a little surreal, you can slow down your shutter speed so your water just glazes over and looks nice and soft. Alright, so another technique I love to use when I'm shooting landscapes is HDR, which also stands for high dynamic range. That means getting the most range out of your image, the most latitude. That means not having a blown out white overexposed sky but a perfectly exposed terrain, or a dark terrain but a nicely exposed sky. What you can do to do that is take an exposure for your sky and then take an exposure for your ground and merge them later in Photoshop. So let's try that right now. I'm going to take an exposure and I'm going to expose for the sky with the sun coming right into my lens. So I'm at f16, I'm at a 50th of a second, and ISO 100 still. So I do not want to adjust my aperture when I'm changing my exposure. I want to adjust my shutter speed, because if I adjust my aperture, that's messing with my depth of field, and I want that to be consistent when I merge these images in Photoshop. So I have my sky perfectly exposed. Let's expose for the ground right now. So I slowed my shutter speed down to a 20th of a second, and the ground's exposed perfectly. I'm going to take a couple more shots of the sky a little bit darker and the ground a little bit brighter, and we're going to take those multiple shots and we'll see which one turns out best in post-processing. All right, so thank you for coming out on the shoot with me. It was a pretty good time. I hope you guys learned something. I hope there's something that you could take away. I didn't get the shot I wanted. That's the lesson I wanted to teach you guys today, is you may come all the way out here and not get the shot. I didn't get the shot this time, but I will next time, or I will the time after that. It's about perseverance and staying motivated, and keep coming out here and trying and enjoying nature, enjoying this time out by yourself with somebody else in the middle of nowhere and enjoying photography. So I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you like this. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this for you guys. Like and share if you know somebody else that can learn from this video. Thank you guys very much, and get out and go shoot.